What's going on, everyone? My name is Romanoff, and today we're going to be reviewing the long-awaited film, Black Widow. So the film was originally supposed to release last year in 2020, but due to the pandemic, they had to push this film to November, and then to May of this year, and then finally it was released in July. And I have to admit, I was a little worried how many times this film got pushed back. Mostly because when a film gets pushed back as many times as this film did, it usually is a bad sign the film will do badly. I also was a little angry that this film didn't come out before Infinity War and Endgame, since, we all know what happened to Natasha. So, myself and I know a lot of people were very angry at this. But still, I thought at the end, this is still fine and would be a great send-off to this character who is loved by so many fans and finally got her own solo film after waiting for how many years for her to finally get her own film. So, despite how long it took for the character to get her own film and how many delays this film got, how did this film do overall? So the plot of this film takes place after Captain America Civil War, where we see Natasha is on the run from the government for helping Captain America and the Winter Soldier escape. She is confronted by her past and now has to go back to where it started in order to end this group that is planning something sinister. So that's the plot of the film without going to spoiler territory. And I have to say, I have some mixed feelings about this. Mostly because of the fact that there are certain scenes throughout the story that could have been very impactful, that could have actually made the story much more interesting, could have kept me hooked on everything that's going on, but it gets ruined with the jokes. Now, yes, Marvel has done this. They've actually had a lot of, jokes in their films to make them not that dark, but keep some humor in it, but there are times when you should give dramatic and epic moments a breather. Let the audience get invested in what's going on, keep them hooked on it, and, just let it all sink in what's going on. But when you throw in these jokes, there are times when that can ruin these intense, dramatic moments and make them fall flat on their faces. And that's pretty much what happens throughout the whole story, is that whenever we get to certain dramatic moments, it becomes less impactful and just less fun because these jokes just ruined it. Now, yes, I did like finding out more about Natasha's past, which we did get a glimpse of from Age of Ultron, and I did like seeing her connection with these people who she was close with before she left. But still, you could have done it without having a lot of these jokes just ruin certain moments that could have actually made the story a lot more fun. And also, we know Natasha isn't going to die because we know what happens to her in Endgame. So, yeah. So, whenever we see her in any dangerous moment, you're not really worried because you know she's going to make it through because, she has to because she dies in Endgame. So, when it comes to the story, yes, it does have its flaws and does keep you from getting too invested in what's going on throughout the story from the beginning, middle, to the end. But it's still not that bad of a story, and it still has its moments once in a while. Alright, so what about the characters? How did they all do? Well, I did really like how the actors all did with their performances. I love Scarlett Johansson as Natasha. She is such a badass character who does have her flaws. She isn't perfect. She knows she has flaws and has made mistakes and is trying to overcome them and make up for what she did before. Florence Pugh did a good job as Yelena, as Natasha's sister. Not by blood, but the bond the two of them have is actually pretty good, and I love the interaction the two of them have. David Harbour as Red Guardian, I thought he did a decent job with his performance, and you can tell he really gave it his all. He was supposed to be the funny part of the film. He did have his moments, granted, but I still wish that, they didn't throw a lot of jokes in this film. Which does make it hard for me to take some of these characters seriously and make it hard for them to get proper development because it's ruined with the jokes they throw in. You don't need to have that to, have the characters get a lot of development. You can still have your serious moments and moments that can actually make the characters, very popular, can get people invested and make people want to care about what happens to them. But of course, my biggest disappointment has been with the villains of this film. Taskmaster was a huge disappointment. You know how people say Ronan Obadiah, the Mandarin, Whiplash, Yellow Jacket were the weakest villains in the MCU. Well, Taskmaster pretty much blew them all out of the water, because not only was his character so wasted, but it was so forgettable as well. I love Taskmaster. I wanted to see this character shine in the film, but unfortunately this character hardly got any development. I couldn't take very seriously, and I completely forgot was in the film until I had to look down my nose like, oh yeah, Taskmaster was in it. I mean, hell, the games and animated versions got this character down more and was more memorable than this clown. It was a shame too, because again, Taskmaster is one of Marvel's best villains that they have, and was just wasted on the big screen. My God, it was such a waste of time. As far as the special effects, I really did enjoy how well they look. They really do make every single one of these action scenes look very epic, and the special effects with, you know, how they were able to pull it off looks well done. I love how visually it's all shot. The action scenes when we get to the fights or a chase scene is done very well. The music was fine. The settings where the film was shot will still look pretty good too. Although, yeah, a lot of these scenes do look very unrealistic with how our characters are able to survive a lot of stuff that we know they shouldn't be able to survive. I mean, yeah, it's a comic book film, but it does feel like a Fast and the Furious film where these characters are somehow just able to survive stuff that we know physically they shouldn't be able to survive, but they somehow do. But of course, with Natasha, we're not worried about what happens to her because, you know, we know she doesn't go until Endgame, so you're not really that invested in what happens to her because you know she doesn't go until that film does. So my final thoughts on this film is the story is fine, but the humor does kill any good scenes that would have made this such a great story. The characters were good, but again, the jokes did hurt any of these characters getting any proper development, and they wasted Taskmaster. That is a damn shame. The action scenes, the special effects, the music, etc. were all good. Just, they did go a little overboard with a lot of the stuff they did, but still not that bad. So, all in all, Black Widow isn't a perfect MCU film. It does have its moments, but it's a decent film to watch. Will I end up watching it again? Probably, in case I missed anything. And I did enjoy certain stuff from the film. It's just that anything else, I will probably end up skipping it just to get to the next scene. Still, it's a decent film. One I do recommend if you're a fan of Black Widow and you finally want to see her own solo film. If you have any friends, kids, or loved ones you want to watch this with, go right ahead. But this is a film you're likely not going to watch as many times as other MCU films that were better than this one. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have a different opinion about this film or what you think of the other MCU films, leave some comments below. Let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, check out my Facebook page, check out my Twitter page, check out D3 Media's channel, subscribe to their channel, keep up to date with their videos. I'll see you next time to give you more love and more entertainment. Until then, take care, be safe, love y'all, and goodbye.